This is Dallas Cohen, the Rebound Coach from thereboundcoach.com. Y'all, it has been like a long time since I've gone live. So, pretty excited to be here with all of you. Hope you're having a great evening. If you happen to be watching this on the replay, please put in the comments replay. I'd love to know where you're coming from and that you're here. So I invited you for a quick heart-to-heart because there's some things going on that I wanted to share with you. And it's been forever because I've had some schedule conflicts with our normal Wednesday night time. And there's been lots and lots of the Rebound Coach live episodes that haven't been able to be shared. So I spent that time sending those out to you if you are on our email list. And if you're not, and you might want to be, reach out to me via this, the way that you're watching this. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, just put in the comments or DM me, right? You don't want to share your email. Share your email and I'll be happy to add you to the email list, and you'll get to know kind of the things that I'm up to and ways that we can connect together. So called this little heart to heart because there are some changes in my life. And I'm doing something that I wanted to invite you to. You know, I'm always inviting you to something. If you are new here and it's the first time that you have watched a video of mine or the Rebound Coach Live, which I don't know if I consider this one of those, but I'm Dallas Cohen. I am a life coach, speaker, and author. I survived 10 years of domestic violence, and God saved my life and allowed me to continue to serve people. I currently serve high-achieving women of faith who've experienced betrayal or trauma or abuse and want to reclaim territory in their relationships with themselves. That is the quickest version of the story I have ever shared, because we're going to go a tiny bit deeper. And I promised my daughters that I would not go long tonight, so I will not be going long tonight. But I survived 10 years of domestic violence. I was married for 10 years. I was with my now ex-husband for 12 years. And this week, I learned that he passed away. So it's been heavy. It's been heavy. It's been a lot for myself and my children. And we are still processing. I've reached no conclusions. I'm allowing myself to grieve, allowing our family to respond the way we need to respond. And I'm only sharing this. I'm not going to go very deep into things because it is very, very private. And like I said, we're still processing. There's this tension, you know, you've experienced what you've experienced with a person, but you also care about that person. And there's that tension, right? I feel this way, then I feel that way, and then I feel that way, and then I feel that way. It's a whole lot of that. And I was checking in with some loved ones and realized that a lot of people are going through stuff right now. And it may not be the death of a family member, but anywhere where there's attention, right? Like, and I don't mean like attention, like paying attention. I mean like tension, like a pull in two directions at one time or more, you know, two or more directions at one time. It can be quite a bit. And I've leaned into God because that's the only place I know to go. And I am incredibly blessed to have an amazing in-person support team who love me and who love my family and are willing to be a support and be a listening ear and pray. So if you pray, I welcome your prayers for my family and for his family, which is, you know, it's just a challenging time, and that's the way it goes. So thank you in advance for your prayers, for your support. And this season, and if you've hung out here on the reboundcoach.com or on the Rebound Coach Facebook page or YouTube, you know, you've heard us talk about this particular time of year. These are the fall feasts the Hebrew feast, the feast of the Lord that you find in Leviticus 23. And it's a sacred time of year. It's a time for introspection. It's a time to make things right. It's a time to clear your accounts with God. So for this to happen, for his passing to happen in this season, I think is not an accident. I think it's in God knew we'd be paying attention to him. Not that we don't pay attention to him the rest of the year, but this time in particular, this season, is a time not only to be paying attention to God, but to be paying attention to you, to check in with you. How's your heart, right? How are you processing life, no matter what season of life you might be walking in? And so I believe God instructed me to put a experience together. It's a virtual experience, and it's on 10 very special days in the Hebrew calendar called the 10 Days of Awe. And that's between Yom Teruah, or if you've heard of Rosh Hashanah, between that day and Yom Kippur, which is the holiest day of the year. Those 2 days symbolize the return of Christ. Well, they symbolize a whole lot of things, okay? We won't go down that today, but it symbolizes the return of Christ and Judgment Day. So if you can imagine having a span of time to prepare your heart, your soul, your mind for Judgment Day, it's a pretty big thing, right? So every year when these 2 days are commemorated in between them, it's called the 10 Days of Awe, and it is a time to make things right. It's a time of introspection. It's a time of prayer. It's a time of contemplation. And I am launching a mini program throughout these 10 days. It's a meditation series. You and I will get to meditate on scripture and go deeper. And really, that's what this is about, going deeper into how you're feeling, where you are spiritually, where you are emotionally, where you are mentally, where you'd like to be. This is also the beginning and end of a Hebrew year, well, a civil Hebrew year. Long story, rabbit hole, not going down the rabbit holes today, but it's one of the New Year's, and it's an opportunity to have a restart. And it's just no accident that this happened now. God is so intentional. And so I only have the lens for myself. I can't reflect on what this means for the other people that he was connected to. I can only speak for myself. This seems like a time where God is making a demarcation. There's a before and an after. And I don't know what all of those question marks are right now. And I'm not trying to fill that in. What I do know is it's time to press into God. It's time to hear what he has to say over us, over our lives, over the season that just passed, over the one we're entering into. And maybe you are also going through a hard transition. Maybe you're going through something painful. Maybe you are like me, being exposed to pieces of trauma I didn't even realize was sitting up in this body cavity. And a lot of folks that I serve or that hang out here are people that have pasts. You know, you may have experienced childhood sexual abuse. You may have experienced domestic violence in any of its forms. And we're very, very good at survival. Our bodies are created, our minds are created to survive. And God's given us incredible tools that help us get out of danger, that help us avoid pain. And we get good at what we get good at. And so you may have done some personal development in the past. You may have done some healing work in the past, and you may feel like, you know what, I'm at a good place. I'm getting through every day really easy, and things are going smooth. And then something happens that triggers you or reminds you of something or sends you back. Or like me, a big transition happens where there's a death of a loved one, and there's suddenly so much to process. suddenly so much to process. And we have a choice then. We have a choice to stuff it back down, drown it out with what, weapon of choice. You drown it out with work, with life, with responsibilities, with parenting, with food, with other substances, with television, with social media. Like, pick your poison. You can drown it out, you can stuff it down, or you can allow His grace to be sufficient. That's where I am. I am allowing God's grace to be sufficient for me and His strength to be made perfect in my weakness. And in order to do that, I have to allow myself to have some weakness, right? Not that I don't already have it, whether I acknowledge it or not, but half the time we're pretending that we don't have weaknesses. And so it takes some intentionality behind allowing yourself to be vulnerable and process through things that are hard. So I'm not promising a front row seat to drama because I have no intention of doing that. But I am opening an opportunity for those who might like to walk these 10 days of awe with me. This starts on the 22nd. So it starts on this upcoming Monday. And we'll go for 10 days from Monday the 22nd through, I'm looking at my calendar, Wednesday, October 1st, which is Yom Kippur Eve. The Hebrew days start at sundown, and so we'll follow that for our counting as well. And what we're calling it is the reset. 10 days to release, renew, and realign with God. Because that's exactly what this girl needs right here. Can't speak for you, but maybe you might need to release a bit, to renew, to realign. We carry so much in our bodies, and I don't mean physical things. We carry stress and depression and sadness and fears and terror and longing. Carry those things in our bodies from season to season, from year to year. And we have an opportunity in these 10 days to release levels and layers of stuff we don't need to carry anymore. And we say that if you're in personal development, you've heard a version of that maybe a million times. But it's never less appropriate than when you're in a transition season to not transition into the new, carrying the old. So if that's you, I want to invite you to join me in the reset. If you need renewal, if you're tired and burdened, if you've been hustle and grinding for I don't know how long and you just can't see life being any different, you need renewal. That doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen because you really want it. It happens because you take steps in that direction. The reset is an invitation to take steps in the direction of renewal. And if you're not aligned with God, you might say, well, I believe in God and I'm going to church and I'm paying my tithes. Surely I'm aligned with God. How do you know if you are or if you're not? Look at your life. Look at your life. Look at your light. Look at your heart. What fruits are there? If there are fruits of His Spirit, then there should be some alignment there. If there is some good fruit and some not so good fruit, maybe not so much alignment there. What I believe is that when we are aligned with God, more aligned, I wouldn't say anyone's perfect or anyone's 0 or 100, right? We're all kind of somewhere in between. But as we grow in alignment with God, we grow in peace. His word says we have the peace that passes all our understanding. And God is always present with us. I had such a beautiful moment this week. I've had lots of really moments this week. And the week, we're only at Wednesday. It feels like it's been 8 days. It feels like it's been 8 days and it's only Wednesday. But I had such a wonderful moment where I knew God was with me. I knew because I could feel it. And I don't mean like I could physically feel the presence of God. And it was incredible. And if I stay in there, I'll cry. I didn't do a bunch of makeup today and didn't dress up today because I didn't have it in me. And I'm allowing that to be okay. Like I'm allowing that to be okay. And still trusting God for things I would normally have trust in myself for, if that makes sense. If you're grinding because if you don't do it, it doesn't get done, that's one way to live. I'm discovering something else. I'm discovering that God is faithful even when I'm not, that God makes up for everything I lack, that God is not displeased when I make a mistake. His grace is sufficient for me, and His grace is sufficient for you. Don't want to get off topic there, but I want to invite you to the reset. You can let's see if I can do this. If it's gonna do what I'm at. There it is. Okay, so there's my beautiful flyer. You can find more information about the reset at my website, thereboundcoach.com/events. Thereboundcoach.com/events. That's where you can read about the program and what we're doing. I'm actually pretty excited. We get to share a little bit of time together every single day for these 10 days. And there's additional resources as well. There's a workbook. I have a bonus spiritual teaching on how to prevail in the courts of heaven that sets a really strong foundation for the work we'll do together. It is a way to quiet the noise that's in your life, just to carve out some time, and accountability. Like, we know it's good to carve out time to pray and to meditate on God and to look inward, and like we know that's good, but we often don't make time for it and no one's checking. So having a group be accountable together is just really, really powerful. We'll be releasing shame and fear and unforgiveness and receiving God's grace and His peace. We're cleansing our minds and spirits from distractions and lies and bondages that hold us back. We're exchanging heaviness for joy. And not because things aren't heavy, and not because you shouldn't walk through it. I think a lot of times when we're in something difficult, we assume that the destination is ease, or the destination is happiness, or the destination is, I'm not going to cry, or a life that doesn't have trials in it or pain in it. What I've learned is, and what I'll be sharing during the reset, I'll be sharing a specific strategy on how to change the memories. We have memories of pain, we have memories of how we've interpreted a thing, and that can continue to cause us pain over and over and over again, unless there's some real intentionality around changing what that means. And I'll be sharing that in the reset experience. Also, experiencing freedom by forgiving others and yourself. We can never have enough forgiveness. We can never give enough forgiveness. And getting ready to step into a new season. So it's a new season just by calendar alone, but for some of you, this is a really important transition time. It's a really important time. Some of the things that you've been longing for and asking God for and hoping would come one day, the one day is in this next season. And it's important to have your heart and mind prepared for what it is God has for you. So if any of that sounds good to you, I want to encourage you to go to thereboundcoach.com/events, thereboundcoach.com/events. I would love to see you on the other side and be able to, okay, I'm looking at stuff. Look at it, I shouldn't have pressed the button, but excited to be able to serve you and walk with you. And I will be processing a bit within that group. And I invite you to walk alongside me, and I walk alongside you in the season that we're in together. So that's my time. I promised I would be brief today. Thank you for joining me. Those who are here, please, please, please comment. I can see in this format that I'm using, I can see that there's folks watching in, but I cannot see your names. So please put it in the comments. I would love to just feel a little connected today and feel a little connected throughout these upcoming 10 days of awe. Thanks so much again. Cannot wait to see you, and I'm looking for the stop button. Until next time, folks, choose life.